Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Estera, soft skill trainer, certified global trainer, international inspirational speaker, educationist, welcoming you to our fourth episode on Talk Show for Experts, Coffee with Estera, powered by Independent Perception and Research Hub, Malaysia. Initiative by its founder and CEO, Professor Dr. Muhammad Shahriar Parvez. Independent Perception and Research Hub is an educational research and consultation center for talented researchers and educational scholars to share their perceptions on different issues and facts. The main goal of IPRH is to enlighten the independent perception of individual thoughts by knowledge sharing, because IPRH always believes that knowledge is power. Now, dear audience, let me introduce you our brilliant guest, Madam Kohila Sivas from North Vancouver, Canada. She is an author, educator, a math coach, learning success coach, and founder of Success Code. Madam Kohila Sivas has achieved tremendous success in her related field, and her work has been recognized with numerous awards and accolades. She is an inspiration to many women and parents around the globe because she herself is a mom. Her sharing will definitely inspire many of you, dear audience. Please join me in welcoming Madam Kohila Sivas to our talk show. Welcome, Kohila, to our show.
Thank you, Esther, for having me. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. It's really pleasant to see you, despite of your. It's so early now, around 6:45 a.m. in Canada.
Yeah, 6:56 in the morning.
6:56. Wow, early morning. You got up and you come on board with us to share your wonderful journey with us.
Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, Kohila, to can I know today we are supposed to discuss about um, your math class and your programs you have for your students in the area of education, quality education. What you are offering your students are quality education, not only how to learn, practice by purpose. Is that so? You mentioned in our last interview, practice with purpose. Yeah.
Purpose.
I
Yes.
still remember. I hope later you can give us an explanation, a short explanation, what is practice by
With
with
purpose.
purpose. Yeah, amazing.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the first question. Everything is solvable. Can you share with us what you want to say about everything is solvable?
Yeah, when you
What do you
approach,
say?
thank you, Esther, for having me. Yeah,
Yeah,
when you approach life and when you approach any problems as if you can solve it,
yes,
it's easier, right? Life is easier, right? Because it's an
yeah,
adventure then. So, but for me, it all started when I was struggling with math when I was younger, and it is something that I had to say instead of getting stuck and saying the opposite, which is I can't do it, I'm not capable. I'm maybe sometimes even called myself stupid, or I hate math, or I hate learning. Instead of saying those, I started saying this phrase to myself as everything is solvable, because there's an answer, right? Because I how I got better in life is through math. I used math as my therapy to get better. So for me, because there's always an answer, if somebody else can find that answer, why can't I find it? So it is solvable. So I just need to find the answer. So that's where it comes from. Now I say to everything, any problem I face, I say it. I tell my students to say it. And it just becomes so much more fun
yeah.
to approach life like that.
Amazing. Brilliant answer. Everything is solvable. Okay, before we go and see your simple one slide photo album, because I think we have seen 3 slides of yours earlier, and today we will talk about it. Before that, let's have coffee, Kohila.
Oh yes, I got my mug. Yes.
Yeah,
It is a coffee show. So thank you.
yes, it's our signature. Okay, fine. Can we have a look at our photo album?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I only have one slide today because I think your photo itself speaks a lot. Your photo here, do you like it, Kohila?
Thank you.
It's so beautiful. I like it.
Oh, thank you.
And then, okay, we talk about learning loss rebound programs for all ages, all subjects. Yeah, can you talk
Mm.
about this, please?
Yeah, in since the COVID and the lockdown,
Yeah.
kids have lost so much learning opportunity and the time because of the shifts to online back into in school. I'm not sure
Yes.
about Malaysia, but in Canada and in the United States it's a big problem, especially those kids who were in kindergarten or grade 1 during those COVID years. Now they're in grade 3, grade 4. So those students are struggling a lot with all of their learning. They don't even know how to be in the classroom because they didn't
Yes.
get those first years of exposure, right? So this program and this,
Everybody, I think, Kohila, the whole world, all
yes,
the children suffer during
yes,
pandemic because everything, their system, their syllabus, everything went haywire, and they are delayed. Even in Malaysia, the
yeah.
examinations, everything, they're supposed to do the exam this year, they are pushed to the next year, so they are delayed. So I'm sure it happens in Canada. Yeah, that's what you're telling. Okay, please
Yeah,
get on.
so that's what this initiative is all about, is getting the children to actually focus, because in Canada and US this is summer holiday now. We are approaching summer holidays.
Okay.
So during this time, if parents spend the time to relearn and reintroduce some of these concepts, they will be caught up by next year. So our hope as learning success coaches, because I train teachers to become learning success coaches, so through them we have lots of summer programs this year just to get them caught up.
Yeah. You see, actually, in Malaysia, they are trying to catch up with all that they have delayed. But it was mentioned, according to our education minister, it will take another 3 years for them to come back to normal,
Yes, yes,
because to catch up with their studies and all that. So it's a great mess actually. Poor children. Anyway, we got to live with it. We have to live with it, and parents and teachers got to work together to resolve whatever issues they are facing together with the children. So this is the time parents and teachers have to work very closely. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult, you see. And the parents, I hope they will not be too result orientated. Don't expect your children to perform like before pandemic. Am I right, Kohila?
yeah. Especially if your child was already struggling with school,
Yes.
or they were just entering kindergarten, or they were just young. If they haven't got used to the school system or the school structure, that
Uh-huh.
itself is a big difference, right? Because they learned it a different way. They need to now adjust, and they're young. So
Yeah.
that's where you have to be patient with them.
Yes, a lot of patience. And parents got to be very patient with their teachers. Support them, understand them, because every teachers, they have family. They are not only handling your children in school, they have family at home which they have to handle. They have their own children. So it's going to be very burdening. So I hope our parents will be very understanding. They'll be more cooperative. Okay, they will cooperate more with the teachers, and ask if they have problem with the children at home, their studies or whatever they are facing. They should consult the teachers, ask teachers how they can solve the problem. Yeah, so by
Absolutely.
doing this, we can bring back our children, um, to normal faster. But hopefully, there's no other pandemic again. But we have to be prepared. Pandemic is the time which we all went through. Nobody expected. We had successfully passed 3 years. So this means we can handle any situation. Parents and teachers can handle any situation in future. Right, Kohila? I think you are very confident now how to handle. By now, teachers would have got solution how to handle in case we have another pandemic coming up. Yeah, so we
Of
are
course.
stronger. Okay, dear. So learning loss rebound programs. So this is the program which you have designed to coach the children to catch up with whatever they have missed. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And it's it's
Oh,
it's led by our learning success coaches who actually we focus holistically with the children. We don't just
uh-huh.
focus on the content. Our all of our learning success coaches are trained to
Mhm.
focus on the whole child, and it's child centric, and we really customize and personalize it to their needs. So there's not one fits all, because in the classroom, the problem with the classroom is we are tried to fit everybody into one mold, but our
Yeah.
kids don't learn the same way. So that's where
Uh-huh.
the customization and the specialized, you know, structure is needed, especially during a situation like this. It's much
Yeah,
needed.
I can imagine physical class itself to manage. Normally in Canada, a class normally has how many students?
Roughly 25, sometimes 28. It's somewhere between 25, sometimes 22 too, depending,
Oh,
the
okay.
age level. So
In
22 to
Malaysia,
28.
many years back, they used to have 40 students.
Wow.
Now they have reduced. They have reduced. I think maybe about 30, around the same
Mm.
number, because they have changed their modules, teaching modules, syllabus, everything, and they find that the system has changed to improve the learning sessions for the children and to help the teachers to cope with teaching and
Mm.
managing the children. Yeah. Okay. That's wonderful. Let's. Can I ask you about? I think you mentioned about the 7 C's success formulas. Um, can we have the stop the screen sharing, please? There's only one slide. Thank you. Okay.
So the 7C success formula, I use it for myself. I never say anything that I haven't used for myself. Everything
Thank
comes from my experience, right? I can't speak on otherwise. So then I started using, when I was training the teachers, I started using with them. And then I also use with my students. So the number one thing to accomplish anything is clarity, right? The first C is the clarity. You
you.
got to
Clarity.
have clarity on what you're trying to accomplish. Even for a student, if they're trying to accomplish finding an answer to a math problem, they need to have clarity on what are they looking for.
Yes.
Otherwise you're just lost. There's no
Yes.
point in looking
Yeah.
for it. Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
The second C to that is courage.
Courage.
Now the courage, everybody thinks of courage to succeed, but I also talk about courage to fail. Sometimes you don't find the answer, sometimes you don't get the right answer, you get it wrong, or sometimes you do thing and you learn that it's not the right thing to do. So accepting the courage to have both, I can win or I can lose, no matter what, but I'm going to do it.
Yes. You
So
know,
that.
Kohila, when you mentioned this, it reminds me of my school days. I normally fail maths. It's
Hmm.
not that I don't do maths, I don't study. I'm a bookworm. Most of the time, I'll be with my books. But I always fail. During my time, I think they have 75 questions, 1.5 hours. You have to finish it. 75 questions. Although it's
Hmm.
objective, but it's too much. No, nowadays they have reduced. But I always fail. So I get very upset. Day by day, I get very annoyed. I said, well, how come? I'm doing my homework, I'm doing my maths well, I'm studying whole day, I'm studying, but I can't score my maths. So when I asked my teacher said, okay, you need practice. So
Yes.
I don't know whether I did practice with purpose, but I did practice every day. Besides my school homework, my maths homework from school. I do 60 question. I time myself 1 hour, 60 question daily. And after that, I become an expert in maths. That's how I learned hard way. So
Yes.
day by day, when I fail, this is what I tell to myself. There's no thing such as failure. I like to talk to myself, when I was student. I said, why if others can do, why I cannot do?
Yeah. Absolutely. That's number one. For anything is to make sure that you practice. So you're back.
Yes.
Awesome.
So sorry.
No, I
So
was gonna say you said you practice, right? But what you were doing is you were practicing and practicing and practicing and practicing, which is what we're told, especially for math. People say aimlessly practice, but then you
yes.
don't see the results. That's why I say you have to practice with purpose, right?
Yeah.
It's really
Let's talk about
important.
it.
Yeah, it's
Let's talk
really
about
important to know what are you practicing and why are you practicing, right? What are you going to practice and why are you practicing? If you don't know the why, you're just
it.
spending time. It's not
Yeah.
about spending time with worksheets or questions after questions after question. You should know to ask, why am I doing these questions?
Mm,
What is this question trying to teach me?
mm,
You need to investigate the question. So if you could do 5 really good questions, it's equals to doing hundreds of questions with practice, practice, practice. It makes no sense. So that's
mm.
where, which what you did is similar to practice with purpose, because you actually timed yourself. That's another part of it. You have to time yourself, because
Yes.
without time you can do everything, right? But when you put the time, now you have pressure. When pressure is
Yes.
there, you don't perform because you're
Mm,
looking at the clock, right? With the
yes.
pressure. So that's another part of it too. Um, so the second C is
I can see.
courage, courage
Yes.
to try and win,
To
or
try and
courage,
win.
yeah, or
Accept.
courage.
Accept if even if you don't do it well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Courage to accept failure.
Yeah,
Great.
and ask yourself, what can I learn from this?
Yeah.
When you
Great.
fail, you don't just fail. There's some lesson that's being taught through that
Okay.
failure. So what can I learn for the next time, right? So that's the
Yes.
second one. Now, when you
Mm,
have the first two C's, which is the
yeah.
clarity and the
Yeah.
courage,
And courage.
when you add both of those, you get confidence. Everybody talks about, uh,
Uh,
you know, um, let the kid become confident. I want my child to become confident, but you don't just become it. You
yes.
actually have to have clarity and courage. If you put them both together, which equals to confidence, because if doesn't matter if I fail or win, or doesn't matter, I'm confident I can go out and do anything.
Yes.
I'm not going to be worried about it. So that's my third C, is the
Brilliant.
confidence part,
Brilliant. Okay. Let's go
right?
to the fourth.
The
Yes.
fourth one is your commitment. Now, I can be all confident I want. I can have the world's confidence in myself. If I'm not committed to my results, if I'm not committed to my process, I just say it and I make excuses and I never do it. So
Mm,
you have to have 0% excuses. You have to train yourself the discipline to keep going forward with that commitment,
yes.
right? That's the
Take
fourth
up the
C.
challenge.
Yeah,
Take up the challenge to do better every day.
yeah.
Yeah. Because
Commitment. Yeah.
Kohila, I can still remember I couldn't afford to go for tuition classes.
Yes.
I have no option other than to practice, but I do topical practice, you know.
Yes.
So that's how I learn. But I think, like what you say, we must ask, what are we doing? What is the purpose? You
Yes.
know, in in
Yeah.
solving problems.
Yeah. And what is the question trying to ask me? And why are they asking me this question?
Yeah,
Are
great.
they trying to waste my time, or is there something I should learn from it? Right? There's
Yeah,
always a reason why they're asking. So thinking like the teacher, the
yeah,
teacher always thinks from the opposite side to the student, right? They're
yes,
coming from
yes,
another level, they're coming from another angle. So if you can
yes.
think what the teacher was thinking when they asked you this question, then you can
Mm-hmm.
answer it way, way better. You're already
Yeah,
thinking like the teacher. So that's another one. So the
yes.
fifth one is
Uh-huh.
consistency. Now you can be
Consistency.
committed, but you might
Mm-hmm.
not take the actions that you need to take. You need to put in your consistency,
Mm.
right? So what does consistency looks like? thinking about that results every day, every time, every hour. You got to think about it. This is what I want. I'm very clear about it. I got
Yes.
the courage to go for it. I have the confidence and I'm committed, but I'm not taking the steps to do it. Like I'm paralyzing myself. So you got to take those consistent steps every day.
I agree with you. That's what I did when I was a student. You see, I didn't know what I was doing, but when you are sharing now, I could connect. Oh, this is what I did. So I did something correctly. But anyway,
Yes.
I did achieve a lot after that. No more failure, any maths until I finished my higher secondary. I love maths. Even today, you ask me to do maths, I'll be so excited. You see, because
Yes.
you know how you came up, right? I do agree. Consistency. You must
So,
be serious. Daily, you have set a time to
yes.
practice and to do your work. Then you can
Yes.
achieve. You are right.
Absolutely.
Please carry on, dear.
So
Next,
the
number six.
next one is, sometimes we always think that we're working alone, we're doing this alone, but it's not. You're not alone. You have other people around you, right? and
Yes.
and then learning to connect with others, especially for children, right? When I was growing, I thought I was only the one who was struggling in math, but guess what?
Ah,
More than half of the class was also struggling.
struggling. Yeah.
But I would never connect with them and tell them about, oh, I also struggle, right? We also always like to, tell others when we're doing well, but we never share when we are not doing well.
We are too young to understand. When we share, we learn more. Yeah, we
Yes.
think we are shy, to tell our friends that we are struggling. That's
Yeah.
normal because we don't have the understanding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why I put them as bonuses, because at younger ages we can really do that connection part well. But as we grow up, connections are everything. Look at me and you. We connected over Summit a few
yeah,
years back. Now we're still
yes,
connected,
yeah.
and
We
we
still
we never met
connecting.
each other. You're in Malaysia, I'm in Canada, but we met each other. So that's
Kohila,
connections.
you are a person whom I can never forget in my
Oh,
life.
thank you. Okay,
You
thank you.
impacted me with the invitation, and I can remember I was so naive, new to online session, and I did it. I know it wasn't so good, but I did it. Thank you.
You're
Okay.
welcome. Thank you.
So the number six is
Number
connect.
7. We've already at number 7.
Number six is supposed to be connecting,
Connection. Yeah.
connection.
Number 7 is
Okay.
collaborations, which is what we're doing right now. You and
Collaboration.
I, we're
Yes, yes.
collaborating, and that's important for students as well, is to collaborate with others, connect with each other and collaborate with each other, learn from others and learn with others, share with others. These are very, very important quality for our students and for
Yeah.
ourselves. Everybody can use it. So this 7C success formula is going to be part of my book that's going to be coming out
Ah,
for
okay.
parents. So I'm
Is
just
that the book?
sharing some concepts.
The title of the book. What is that? The one.
I'm not quite I don't know yet.
Oh,
It's
you
in
don't know yet. I
in
thought
the
the book
making.
you have published recently, not that.
No, that
Oh,
was
that's
for teachers.
congratulations. Best
That
of
was for
luck. I'm
teachers.
looking forward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is for parents and students, the one that's coming out soon.
great.
Yeah. So,
Dear audience, I'm sure you heard what Kohila mentioned. From the way a seven sees itself: clarity, courage, clarity plus courage, confidence, commitment, consistency, connection, and collaboration is key to successful learning in maths.
yes.
Yeah,
Or anything,
anything.
learning,
It can be anything.
learning,
Yes.
earning, and
Yeah.
even life.
Yes. Great. So now, before we continue, dear audience, thank you for all the comments. I'm welcoming all the audience who just logged in. Please carry on commenting. You have any questions or you want to greet Kohila, please continue commenting. Thank you. We shall continue now. Great. So, what does it takes to achieve anything?
Hmm. The
What
seven.
does it take? The seven C's. Yeah. Yeah,
It's part
yeah,
of
I
it.
agree
It's
with that.
a big, big part of it. Yes.
Yes, exactly, exactly. This is what, okay, this is what you are relating to. Fine. So, dear audience, to achieve anything, according to
Thank
our
you.
maths expert, Kohila, this is not only for maths, you can apply these 7 C's. This is the formula for whatever you want to achieve. I can appreciate this because uh, I'm an educator. I can appreciate what Kohila shared with us, and it is really amazing. Next, why failure is important?
Say one more time. Sorry, Esther. I didn't hear that question. Sorry. Why math is
Why
important for me?
is why is failure
Or failure?
is important to success?
Because if you don't experience failure, you can't appreciate winning.
Yes,
Because it means so much more, right? When you win
yes,
after a failure and
yes.
failure, and then you
Mm,
win, and then you really see, okay, this is what it feels like. So failure is always an opportunity to learn. Even within math questions, it's an opportunity to learn. Within life, it's an opportunity to learn. So I think it's the most. I think it's even more important than winning.
yeah,
It's more
I do
important
agree.
than winning.
Yeah, failure. Yes, because if you always have what you want, so your mind will be set into thinking that life is so easy, everything is success. But when you fail once, then failure is actually a booster. Do you
Yes.
see it that way, Kohila?
Absolutely. It's your stepping stone, it's your booster, it's
Uh,
everything. It's what guides you to the next win. Yeah.
yeah. So, as an educator, you are also saying that we should see failure as a stepping stone. We should not even use, if can, we should not say it's failure. No,
No.
it's just that I couldn't achieve what I wanted. That's all. It's not a failure at all.
Yeah.
Yes?
For me, I don't even use that word. But basically, I just
Yeah.
say, what can I learn from it?
Yes.
What can I
Fantastic.
learn from it? What is it trying to teach me? And if there's a situation, there's always something that the situation is trying to teach you. So
Mm-hmm.
you can also ask, what is it trying to teach me? What am I
Yes.
supposed to learn from this?
Great. Okay, so Kohila, I think you have answered most of the questions. And let's go have some light moments. Yeah.
Yes.
So, as a educator, as a mom, how does your daily routine goes?
I wake up really early.
Ah,
You were saying earlier this was early. This is not early. Day usually starts around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning.
wow.
Yeah, it's a natural wake up call. I wake up and I just have go through my meditation or my thinking, get my
Mm-hmm.
day organized so I know
Mm-hmm.
what's coming up, and
Uh-huh.
I have almost four businesses going at the same time. So there's a lots of things that I need to look into and plan out. So that's a
Yeah.
very nice time to have a quiet time to myself to do all of that stuff. So that's number
Excellent.
one is my morning routine is so important for me because without
Yes.
that I'll be lost. And then after that is during the day I have a lot of meetings. It's usually on Zoom because I work 100% online, so it's always on Zoom or some other medium. But lots of meetings and lots of learning. I'm never stop learning.
Uh-huh.
I'm always learning every day. Even in this meeting, I'm learning from you. Every day I'm learning. So the learning should never stop either. So that's another part of my big part of my day is me learning and growing.
Yeah.
These are two things I'm doing every
Yes,
day.
I do agree. I do agree. I can appreciate what you say because as an educator, it doesn't matter whatever you are teaching. Even sports, if you are a sports teacher, you got to learn every day, learn new things. How much you learn, how adventurous you are in your field is going to be how it's going to show in your students. If you are a brilliant teacher, hardworking, innovative, your students will adapt the same thing from you because you are a brilliant teacher. because you impart whatever they have. They are generous in sharing knowledge. So
Hmm.
that's why we call educators as second parents, because they don't keep anything for themselves, just like parents. You see, they share. Amazing. Okay, what do you do during what? I'm very sure you don't really have much free time, but
Sorry, I
how
lost you.
do you I'm very sure you don't really have much free time, but how do you find free time to do your hobbies or to do any other things which interest you away from your schoolwork, whatever related to your work?
Yeah, so I do take time off. I don't work all 5 days. I usually work only 4 days or 3 days of the week. The rest of them are mine to enjoy. So most of the time, those times are spent on outdoor. I like taking pictures of outdoor sceneries,
Yes,
flowers. This is my hobby, one of my
yes.
hobbies. And then
Beautiful.
chase.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Sceneries, dear audience, if you go to Kohila's Facebook, her Facebook is Kohila Sivas. You can see her name on the poster. Yeah, she can see the name at her on the screen. This is her Facebook ID. You may visit. You can see she has many sceneries, flowers. She's a person who's very soft by heart. I
Oh,
can see that. Yeah, that is what you do. Yeah, you
yes.
take photographs. Do you have gardens at home?
Not in my place. We just moved, but wherever I see flowers, they call me to come and take a photo. They always
Yeah.
they invite me, and it's actually a hobby started during COVID because we couldn't go anywhere, so I could only go out to walk. So then I
Uh-huh.
started taking flowers. I actually have an Instagram page just dedicated to flowers.
Wow.
So this is what I like
Yeah.
doing. But besides that, I like to go and see sunset. We have a beautiful place. I live in Vancouver, right? It's very, very beautiful with
Beautiful.
forest and trees and everything. So
Yeah, it's
that's
famous
most.
for fishery, right? Very famous for fishery, in fishing in industry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fishing. We have
elephants
fishing.
and all that fishing. Yeah,
Yeah,
we learn in geography. That's why we know. Okay,
yes.
so yeah, you have a very good way of de-stressing yourself. I
Stress.
can
Yeah.
see that. Yeah, you need that very badly, and I always enjoy looking at your photographs of flowers, sceneries, sunsets. It's so beautiful. I literally feel that I'm transported there, and
Oh,
your
thank you.
photography sessions are very good, very clear.
Thank you.
Yes, yeah. So, Kohila, before we end the show with a strong message, so what can you share with us one book which you have read in the past,
Mhm.
maybe when you are a student or even lately, which impacted you a lot? Or is there any message which you get from the book which you read? Can you share
Yes.
with our audience,
There are
please?
many. There are many books that I've read that helped me for sure. But I want to go back to the first book. It's not even a traditional book that most people will read. But for
Mhm.
me, when I was trying to figure out myself and figure out math, I used to read the textbooks, the
Okay.
math textbooks. I don't know about in Malaysia, but in Canada, whenever there's a textbook, before you
Uh-huh.
actually learn the concept of math, there's also always a story they introduce with the story of the person who probably discovered or worked on those formulas or how they
Yes.
came about. There's an
Yes. Similar.
introduction.
Similar. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you go into questions, right? So for
Yes.
me, all the teachers I had in the past, they would always ignore the story
Huh.
and just assign us the homework or just talk about the questions.
Go
But when I
directly
was,
to the points.
yeah, so when I was bored in the classroom, I would actually read those stories, and I would read them and I would understand and I say, oh, okay, wow, they spent so much time discovering this. So I started appreciating the work that went into me learning the concept like this, right, so quickly. So those were stories that I still remember. I wrote it in a book, in a collaboration book. They
Yeah.
asked me, tell me about a book you read, and
Uh-huh.
that's what I told them. It's the book that I read that I have still memory
Uh-huh.
of and that helped me so much are those stories in those textbooks of the
Yes.
people who contributed to math or they discovered the concept of. that I was learning.
Like, yeah, I can still remember, Pythagoras theorem. How did
Yes.
they arrive at Pythagoras theorem? There's a story when
Yes.
Pythagoras was lying down and looking at the shilling, the fly flying there and here. So I can really, I think it's a good story. Yeah? I think whatever we learn, we have to know who is the one who introduced it, and from where it originated, so that we can appreciate whatever we learn better. Yeah, great. Kohila,
And
today,
one more
yeah,
thing, Esther, add to that, if a parent or a student is listening, also it makes you want to learn that, because it's not just you learning random stuff. You
yes,
actually learning something that's proven effective and works, and this person spends so much time and energy and involved themselves to figure it out for you. Look how
yeah,
easy is it for you.
yeah. It's not an imagination. Imagination. It's something real. So you
Yeah.
are motivated to explore further because you
Yes.
know it's real.
Right.
Thank you for the message.
Yes.
Yeah, Kohila, today we had a very meaningful,
Thank you.
very impactful session together.
Thank
I'm
you.
very sure, audience, Kohila sharing has impacted you greatly. Before we end our talk show today, Coffee with Estera, I would like to hear this wonderful message, strong message from Kohila for these three people. First, the student. What is the strong message for students?
Hmm. Everything is solvable. Never give up. Never
Fantastic.
give up.
Everything is solvable. Never give up. Next, for the parents,
Patience.
patience. Fantastic.
Understanding and patience.
Understanding and patience. Excellent. For the teachers,
Yes.
what would you like to say?
I
A
think the
strong
teachers are at a very, very hard place, like you mentioned earlier. This is
yes,
why my one of my mission right now is to help teachers,
yes,
be at a place where the parents can understand and they can work as a team to help the child, instead of becoming against each other. Because if the parents and teachers are against each other, it doesn't help the child, right?
yes.
It actually falls apart. So my biggest mission is to create learning success coaches who are able to work with the parents as a team member, so that we
I
can
think
fix this problem.
I think this is a very noble act, Kohila.
Yeah.
I agree with you. If at all we have to do, rather than focusing too much on the children, the parents and teachers have to have connection. That
Yes.
connection, you know, to help the students. You see,
Mhm.
then you can see results. If we are only chasing after the children, then you can't see good results,
No,
right? And
absolutely.
it will be very slow to achieve our goals for the children.
Yes,
Yes. So
absolutely.
let us parents, teachers respect each other, understand each other. Yeah.
Mhm.
You see, as we know, parents of 20, 30 years ago, they adore teachers. They highly respect teachers. And we can see the children are well behaved. They do well in their studies. They are obedient at home. They are obedient in school. There's very, very few social problem.
Mhm.
Social problem we've been having all the time. But if you compare to now, it's very critical level. Yeah, Kohila?
Yes,
Yes, we
absolutely.
can see gun shooting, gangsterism, everywhere. Everywhere. It's just that some are reported and some are not. So, parents, stop blaming the teachers, and teachers stop blaming the parents. There are some teachers also, we all are human beings. We have our flaws. Let's forget about all this. Let's think how we can work together to make this world a better place, make our children study happier, do perform better in whatever they study. Our children are our product of our good works. Yeah, teachers and parents together mold the children.
Mhm.
So how good is your child is your work. Parents is your work, teachers. But parents, again, Mind you, parents, you have an obligation to take extra care of your child. Teachers in school, they have about 30 children. They have children at home. They come to school, they have about 30 children to manage from different background. Yeah, different background, different situation. Not every child is a happy child. So, if you find it difficult to manage your child, parents, teachers are in a very, very difficult position as well. So please help teachers. Yeah,
Yeah,
support teachers. Thank
absolutely.
you so much. Dear audience, Kohila, I'm very sure you will never forget Kohila's sharing. The 7 C's, let me reiterate: clarity, courage, confidence, commitment, consistency, connection, and collaboration.
Hmm.
Students, never give up. Go for it. Keep going. Never give up. This is her message. Parents, have patience. Have patience. And you also shouldn't give up on your children. And teachers, work together closely with the parents to achieve, because both of you have common goals to see the children to perform better and be a good citizen. Not only excel in their studies, but being a good citizen, a
Yeah.
good person, because they are the one who is going to be our future. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
dear
you.
audience. And
Thank
we
you
meet
so much.
again in our next episode with another amazing guest like Kohila.
Thank you, Esther.
Thank you for your time, Kohila. It's really wonderful. If there's any other better topics, we will invite you again. Please
Yes.
share with us. Thank you.
Yes.
Have a
Yep.
nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear audience. Bye.